Welcome back to On the Border.
We're back after another 2 weeks. Maybe we should just go bi-weekly if we're going to be this late every single time. Our first story of the day is avocado exports, which were up 24.4% in January, with the U.S. leading with 80.9% of said exports. Avocados seem to be increasing in production and value too, as the industry is now valued at $2.227 billion, which is up 19% from last year. That's a lot of avocados.
Good for avocados. I thought they were getting blocked last time we talked about them, but
no. People, the Super Bowl Sunday happened and everybody bought their avocados.
It just goes to show you can't stop the guac.
Ooh, but you can't stop Tupac.
In other news today, an organization was recently launched to battle corruption. An organization called Platform Against Impunity and Corruption was launched, which includes 20 Mexican organizations and over 50 million individuals. This is a good step forward, as an actual organization might be able to fight the rampant crime in Mexico and the rampant corruption. A representative of the group, Maria Elena Morera, said that the platform aims to help in local, national, and international matters because their government has failed them. They aim to currently fight the accountability problem with the government.
Do you want to know who else has failed me recently?
Who?
My dear old grandmother. She made some cookies, and it was a real sad day because you want to know why? Cookies weren't cookies; they were just avocados.
Well, how's that sad?
The guac penetrated me. Our third story for the night is that bodies have been falling from the sky in northern Sonora State, a place riddled with drug cartels. 3 bodies were found after falling from a plane, and people suspect that the drug cartels are behind this. It's also to note that Sonora was the home of El Chapo before he got, extradited, sent to prison, and then he escaped and they got to prison again and, other stuff.
A lot of crime in Mexico, I guess, corruption. Speaking of corruption, an ex-governor was arrested in Italy. Thomas Yarrington Rubalcaba has been wanted for the past 5 years after being found guilty of money laundering, fraud, and drug trafficking. That's corruption, that's like some high-level corruption. Here to talk more about the corruption is our good friend and corruption analyst, Corruption Horse.
Rubalcaba, before being pursued and charged with criminal offenses and money laundering and all that, was actually quite a prominent governor, running to be a presidential candidate in 2006. He was arrested in Italy after dining at a Florence restaurant. He tried to deny being himself with a fake passport. Just goes to show you corruption and money can get you out of the country, and fake passports, some things that are very hard to come by here in the US, but you know what? They still catch up with you in the end.
Thank you, Corruption Horse.
So, now for our commercial, which is
from our sponsor, Sebastian's show.
It's my show, which is even less funded, and now on the same network as this trash.
Travel Times.
The sequel.
Our budget was cut so much that we can only afford 10-second ads. Buckets to the Arch of St. Louis, and you see all the clouds behind it, and that's because it's projecting the clouds on East St. Louis, which is a completely different city, and all it has in it is a casino, and now all we see here is this arch. Thank you.
Okay, so that was a nice episode. So, Mexico has dropped on the Peace Index recently, and shown by a study produced by the Institute for Economics and Peace, an international think tank, there's been a 4.3% decrease in peacefulness right after an 18% increase in homicides over the past year. The report also points out how 91% of crimes go unpunished and how the judicial system should be fixed. They say that pouring more resources into it will be the solution. So, maybe Mexico can be at peace again, like Gandhi and the white man.
Mexico is looking kind of messy right now.
Yeah, what they really need is a man named Mexi, which is like Gandhi, but with a Mexico.
In addition to all that crime and corruption, there's now growing fear of a foreign corruption. That is, Russia meddling in the Mexican election like they supposedly have in the U.S. Tios Peter, a future independent presidential candidate, said that if Russia intervened in the United States, there's every reason to think that Mexico is a target for attack. He also mentioned that the government should revitalize its counterintelligence agency and make alliances with other countries with with problems that involving Russia. Make alliances with countries dealing with Russia as a problem, not alliances with Russia. And last, but certainly not last, there was history made in the state of Tlaxcala today with the opening of its first ever escalator.
Whoa!
Escalator!
Yeah!
Escalator!
Escalator!
Shoppers were very excited for this monumental occasion that brought a sense of unity among the consumer populace. On that note, escalator.
On that note, we have a special word
Farewell
from
song.
ourselves. Goodbye for the night, and now you will receive some beautiful
Music. One of our sponsors today is the On the Border official soundtrack album, featuring some great covers by us. First up, we've got Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water.
Up next, we have Through Fire and Flames by Dragon Force.
Dark Side of the Border releases on April 22nd on iTunes.
Dude, that's awesome!